What does it take to run a sub 3 hour marathon? It means running at a pace of 6:50 a mile or 4:15 a k for 26.2 miles at 42.2 kilometers. And for many runners, it will be a lifetime achievement. A sub 3 hour marathon isn't just a nice number that sounds good, it's a symbol of immense dedication, physical strength, and mental fortitude. It also should qualify you to run at the Boston Marathon and the London Marathon. Well, my name's Ben Parks, 225 marathoner, but for a long time it was my absolute lifelong golden dream to run a sub 3 hour marathon. I thought it was utterly impossible, but after many years of trying, I finally managed to do this at Edinburgh 2016 with a bit more of a beard I used to have back then, and I think I ran about 2:55 for my first ever sub 3. The whole experience made me completely fall in love with running and started everything you see here on the channel, and I've since managed to knock a further 30 minutes off that time. And that's what this video is all about, everything I've learned over the years. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you need to do to be crossing that line at 2:59.59, or ideally a little bit quicker as well. So sit back, relax, let's get my complete guide to running a sub 3 done. Right, let's start out with the most important thing. What training do you need to be doing? We'd really suggest around about 15 weeks of dedicated training. You need to get comfortable with building some bigger mileage weeks, regularly running through this training block around about 50 to 65 miles a week on a consistent basis, and that is going to build that strength and endurance we need for a sub 3 hour marathon. With any training block, you need a big variety of different runs in there, starting out with the most important one, the long run. Our long runs are going to be anywhere from about 12 up to about 23 miles, from 19 to 37 Ks. There's two different types of long runs that we would suggest. Putting in some blocks at marathon pace and blocks at easy pace. Really simple, just do 5K on, 5K off, and build your run up that way. We need to get used to what it feels like to be running at that marathon goal pace. Another suggestion, the faster finish long run. Maybe say 20K, nice and easy and relaxed, and then faster finish with a 10K or longer block to finish off once our legs are fatigued, to get our body used to what it's going to be like to be running hard at the back end of that marathon. We also want to be putting some runs in there faster than our marathon goal pace. Some absolute classic sessions to do, something like 6 by 3 minutes at around about our 5 to 10K pace, 4 by 1 mile at around about our 10K pace, and then some slightly slower ones, about 4 by 8 minutes at around about our 10K to half marathon pace. With all of these, I suggest a 2-minute walking recovery between those reps. These are all going to help to increase our VO2 max, get strong and get comfortable with running at a pace much faster than our marathon pace. So when we drop back, it feels nice and comfortable. And then another really important thing in here, some runs slower than our marathon pace, easy pace runs. For a lot of people training for a sub 3, we're talking around about 7:50 to 8:40 a mile for our easy pace, 4:50 to 5:25 a k. It's so important to keep those easy runs easy. If you don't, you really run the risk of overdoing it, burning out, and not being ready for those tougher sessions during the plan. If you're not very disciplined to stick to these sort of paces, then definitely recommend using a heart rate monitor. Stick to your zone 2 heart rate goal. At the very least, keep it conversational at a pace you could have a chat with a friend if you were running together. The most important thing through this training plan is to build consistency week to week. Don't be a hero. Don't be trying to smash workouts, trying to get all the kudos on Strava. Keep your training super simple. Just go out there day after day and get it done. Around about that 5 to 6 runs a week, and you will get there. If you're unsure about any of this and you want a guide with exactly what you need to do, then check out our level 4 plan that is completely structured to get you a sub 3 hour finish. Check it out. We'll link to it down below, benparks.com. Go and read the reviews, see what other people think of the plan, see all the people that have used this plan to get that sub 3. Right, moving on, we've got to find a good course, a good route, a good race where we can achieve our sub 3 hour marathon. We want to find a flat course, ideally with closed roads as well. In the UK, my first official, as I said earlier, was at Edinburgh Marathon. Some other really good courses, Chester Marathon, Yorkshire Marathon, Manchester Marathon, Abingdon, all that. Abingdon isn't all closed roads, but it's still a really good race. Newport and London Marathon as well, which again, isn't the flattest course, but the crowds are insane. I'm so excited for London Marathon this year. If you want to travel a bit further afield, or you're from Europe, then Rotterdam Marathon, Amsterdam Marathon, Valencia Marathon, Pisa Marathon, Berlin, Frankfurt and Tallinn Tallinn, all good options as well. Rest of the world, something like Gold Coast in Australia, CIM in California, Tokyo, Osaka, Chicago. Let me know your best races around the world. What do you think are the fastest options? Help the community down below in the comments. So once we set off on our sub-3 attempt, what sort of pacing strategy are we going to be adopting? Well, as I said at the start of the video, 4:15 a K or 6:50 a mile. We want to be cruising along at this pace for at least the first half of the race. What I try and do in all my races is run them completely even or try a negative split by running the second half of the race a bit faster than the first half. So I say definitely set off at our goal pace. Do not try and bank some time. Marathons really do feel easy in that first half of the race. It should feel easy. You've got to hold yourself back and stick to that pacing plan. It's a really good idea to use lap pace on your watch to monitor the pace you're running, and I'll put my watch face up on the screen now. Lap pace is what I'm constantly looking at in all of my races, and this will update every kilometer or every mile or every however long you've set your lap for, and just stick at that pace and reset all the time. Don't look at average pace, because as we know, you're probably going to be running a bit longer than a marathon, a bit longer than our watch is going to say. It could well come up at 42.5, 42.6, which is why I say just go off a little bit quicker than that goal pace, about 4:15, 6:50, just a little bit ahead of that sub-3 time. Right, let's have a chat about fueling through our training and also during the race as well. Now, before the race, a lot of people will be wanting to do something called carb load, increase the amount of carbohydrates in our body that we can then turn into fuel during the race as well. Something around about 10 grams of carbohydrates per kilo of body weight. For someone that weighs around about 70 kilos, you're talking about 700 grams of carbs per day for the 2 to 3 days in the build up towards the race. Now, we'll link to an article down below from Welsh Athletics. If you want to have a bit more of a deep dive about carbo loading, go and check out that article. Now, I'd really recommend during your long run training and your race, getting in a good carby breakfast. My personal absolute classics, things like bagels, toast, porridge, and some sports drinks, really good for getting some liquid carbs in there as well. But do what works for you. Experiment, try different things, practice this during your training. It's so important that come race day, you'll have tried this exact same breakfast for all of your long runs and then just repeat it on race day. You know it's going to work. Again, during those long runs, maybe during some of your speed sessions, we want to be practicing with some gels as well. Around about every 30 to 45 minutes, we want to be taking on a carbohydrate gel. This is going to be, for most people training for a sub-3, about 4 to 5 gels during the race. Practice going out with 4 to 5 gels. Practice carrying them. How are you going to carry them? For me, I like to put them on my naked band around my waist. But practice this. Don't get to race day and think, how am I going to carry these? Make sure you practice it during your training. Long runs should be dress rehearsals. Ideally, if it's warm enough, get out there in your singlet, get out there in your favorite race day shoes. Practice in this during your long runs, so by the time it comes to race day, you've done all your dress rehearsals and you're just repeating it. It will seem so like second nature. And then moving on to some general and other bits of advice here that you probably want to adopt into your training. The first one is look at the possibility of joining a run club. You have lots of other runners around you that will no doubt be training for a big marathon. You could do some of your longer sessions together, practice running in groups as well, and maybe look at entering some warm-up races. People say, shall I do a half marathon, a 20 mile? These are really good options. You could practice these at your goal pace as well. Practice your fueling, practice turning up at the start line at the right time, practice drinking out of cups as well. A lot of people say, what type of shoes should I be getting? Well, the most comfortable pair of shoes as well. It's not for me to say. At the moment, I love doing my training in my Asics Super Blast and my race days in the Nike Vaporfly 3s. Really good to have a 2-shoe rotation if you can afford it. Your carbon plated super shoe to do some of your sessions and your faster long runs in and race day, and a really classic daily shoe to be doing some easy mileage in. Making sure you're getting a really good warm up before all your runs, get some good dynamic stretches done before your runs and some static stretches done after your runs as well. We really want to be adopting some strength training into our program as well, once or ideally twice a week. You can add on a strength option with our training plans on the website if you want some more guidance here as well, but just a super simple circuit with some squats, some lunges, some bridges, some planks, some calf raises, 20 to 30 minutes. And I'd recommend doing these on your easy run days and not on your rest days. Keep your rest days as complete rest. That's when your body's going to be adapting, making all the changes that it needs to make and getting stronger so you can go out there and run that sub-3. In a similar vein to that, respecting your rest days, you've got to listen to your body. We might be doing some of this training some winter months. There might be some sicknesses around. You might be getting sore. And if this happens, you're going to have to take some time time away from your running. I always say with most training plans, if you're hitting about 80% of it, that should be good enough to get you to race day to achieve it. So don't stress out. If you get ill, you get sick, you pick up a little injury, go and get some advice on that. But please don't try and play catch up. Just get back onto your training plan at the earliest available opportunity. It's also really important to chat to your friends and family and those close to you around you about what you're going to be going through. If you're not a seasoned runner, this is going to put potentially a lot of extra stress on your life. You might not be around as much to help out with other things in your life. I'm sure they're going to support you, and you'll be back to support them even more after you've gone out and completed this epic challenge. But just let people know what you're going to be doing. And my final top tip is, of course, to go and get yourself a Ben Parks running hat, kitting yourself out in the very best kit, feeling good, will give you that extra motivation to go out there and get it done. So that's it, guys. Please check out the website, benparks.com. Very best of luck. Let me know where you're going to be going for your sub-3 attempt, and of course, let me know how you get on with it. Next up, we've got 2 videos to choose from. Maybe the one up here, all about avoiding hitting the wall, or the one here, all about mental toughness. Really important for breaking that sub-3. Go and check those out.